Hey everybody, this is Candy, the Candy and Eye Candy Abstract Art, and I'm up here in my art studio, little extra bedroom up here in the house that I'm in, and here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I thought I would show you around my art space, but more importantly, I've laid out a lot of the tools that I use all the time, because I get a fair amount of DMs from people asking me questions about what kind of paint I use or what kind of brushes, things like that. And then I've also found the other artists on Instagram to be so helpful, sharing information on the tools that they've accumulated. And so thought I'd share that with some of you guys, and hopefully it helps you out. So first of all, this is a space, just a little bedroom up here, ceiling fan, critical in Arizona. I've got all my paints sorted by colors in these little roller carts here. The shelving unit has just all kinds of tools, my tape, sponges, scrapers, all that kind of stuff. I've got a spare closet in there with more tools, tons of stir sticks up there, tons of mixing cups and things like that. These are all my mediums and some finishing type things. But over here on the tables, I've got two 6-foot tables that I've put together to use as my workspace. I've laid out some of the things that I use most often and just that help with the little tricks of the trade, so to speak. So I thought I'd run through those really quickly, and maybe you've been wondering how to accomplish something, or hey, what kind of tape gives good lines and that kind of thing. So hopefully you find this helpful. Anyway, some of it's really obvious, like gotta have a ton of paper towels around, learn that. And then a water spray bottle is really key, especially when working with acrylics in a drier area like I am in Phoenix, where there's not a lot of humidity. Okay, some of the tools that I've used, I just got these. I've got like 5 different sizes of pot lids, because you can use them to set down. It's great because you get the handle on top. And I use these to create the outline of the circles on here. And I'm sorry, my dogs are going nuts, of course, right on cue as soon as I start the video. We will close the door and shut them out. I'm not gonna start over just for that. Anyway, so they come in handy, or you can just spread paint along the edge, just along this fine edge here, and then take it and just tap it down, oops, that was loud, on the canvas, and it makes just a nice circle on the canvas, sometimes with a little splatter, which is cool if you're doing abstract. Then I spent a lot of time on Amazon looking for any type of metal I could find that had a pattern that I could use as a stencil. So I've got a couple of these, I have a couple of these, I've got more, but these are just 2 of my favorites that I use a lot. This is actually, it goes in the bottom of a pressure cooker, but I got it on Amazon and it works great as a spray stencil. Sometimes I spray the whole circle, sometimes just a part of it. Depends what I'm trying to do here. As far as the types of paint I use, you can't beat golden. I love golden. The pigmentation is so strong. But watching John Beckley, who is my art idol, I noticed he used a lot of Amsterdam paint, which they have some really cool, interesting colors. And then this Sennelier Abstract Innovative Acrylics. Love it. It's my favorite titanium white to work with, just the texture of it. Liquitex Basics, more Sennelier. And then Arteza, they have, the paint's good, and they have a lot of interesting colors too. My favorite black, absolutely, since discovering this, it's the only one I like to use, is the Carbon Black from Golden. It's wonderful. Some other basics, can't live without my stir sticks for mixing up paint for my splashes. You see over here, I've got lots of little cups that I've mixed up, and I always try and save it. One's tipped over there, let's set it up. So I always try and save that, because paint supplies are expensive. Have a ton of these cups in the closet there. I also use them as my water cups to dip my brushes in and to put them in to soak until I clean them up. Then I use a lot of cling wrap. I bought it like in a 3-pack because I go through so much, because I dip this in the paint and dab it on the canvas and it adds a nice texture. Or if the paint's still wet and you just dab it, it removes some of the paint and adds texture that way too. I don't use any fancy palette or palette paper or whatever. I use paper plates, whatever kind of paper plate I can get the cheapest. As far as tape, Oh boy, it took me forever. I mean, I bought the blue tape, I bought Scotch, I bought 3M. But somebody told me, I think it was Chris Watt Art, told me that frog tape was his favorite and the best. And ever since I got that, I'm super happy with it. I mean, sometimes if I'm using these high flow acrylics, you'll get a little bleed under, but not much. It's almost double the price of normal masking tape or other masking tapes you'll get, but it is so worth it. It reduces the stress when you're doing something with lines like that. And then when you're trying to do curves, there's this thin little Scotch artist tape for curves. Really like that. I mentioned these golden high flow acrylics. Those are wonderful. I have just the black and white out here, but they come in a lot of different colors. Some of them are transparent, which is really cool when you're trying to get that effect on something. I didn't set it out here, but I will lean over here a second. This Liquitex airbrush medium. I like it for thinning out paint. It's not as gloppy as some of the other types of thinners. It's not as gluey, and it's great for thinning out the paint to do splashes and things like that. As far as markers, love the Montana acrylic markers. These things are great. Then this took me forever to find this tool, and it was Paint with Buff Kitty. He's one of my followers, and I follow him on Instagram. He turned me on to these. I knew John Beckley used them, but I could not figure out what it was or where to get them. But they are by Molotow, and I've gotten them on Blick Art Supplies, and I've gotten them on Amazon. And they come empty, so you can fill them up with whatever you want. Again, I use the high flow acrylics. You don't want normal heavy body acrylic in here or it won't flow out, so that won't work. As far as brushes and rollers, John Beckley uses this type, and they have turned out to be really great rollers. Again, got these at Blick Art Supplies online. Brushes, took me forever to find brushes I liked because I wanted something that had some tooth to it, something that didn't bend super easily. So the first thing I found that I liked were these Textura Raphaels. I have those in a few different sizes. But then the game changers for me that made my blending so much better were these Princeton Redline brushes. You see I've got the 2-inch and the 3-inch. And then this Princeton mop brush. This thing is just fantastic. I use it to do like the depth shading when I create the black lines to make something look like there's depth, or like the triangles, things like that I do. These used to do, see the black and white kind of scratchy lines there? That's these. These are these Abstract, again, Centillier heavy body liners. Those things are great. These are my two favorite palette knives for either mixing up paint or applying paint to the canvas. Have to have an X-Acto knife, have to have scissors. Along those same lines, have to have a ruler. I want to get a metal 12-inch, but right now I just have several plastic ones. And then I do have this metal yardstick, which comes in very handy when, say, you're using one of these markers to draw a line on the canvas, something like that. So I think that's it. I think I ran through everything. Again, I'm always more than happy to answer your questions. If you're wondering where I got a particular tool or how I accomplished a certain type of effect, just send me a DM. So anyway, I hope you're having a great Saturday night. Hope you're having a creative weekend, and just keep on painting. All right, bye.